Hi, my name is Nakuset, and I've called Montreal my home for most of my life. In the last 20 years, I've had the privilege of working with urban Aboriginals in Montreal. And in this time, I've found our people to be incredibly resilient, strong, and talented. Today, I would like to introduce you to a couple of these people. Timothy Armstrong is a performer, an activist, and a father. Odaya is a traditional women's drum group committed to the well-being of Aboriginal communities. And this is Indigenous power.
We are giving you the best variety of music. You are listening to K103.7 FM. On the other side of the break, I have music from David Essex, the Rolling Stones. Good morning. I'm Timothy Armstrong, sitting at 20 degrees outside of our K103 studios. It is 9:20. I hope you are not running late.
Thank you so much for letting us into your studio. I know that you are very busy. How do you define yourself?
First, I'd like to say father first, then activist, then I'd say I'm an announcer. In that order, as far as importance goes.
Do you like working on radio?
I love it. It's something I've always wanted to do. It's not many people get to have like a dream come true. Like a lot of people say, oh yeah, I used to pretend that I was a radio guy, but I have recorded stuff at home where what I now know are beds of music, it's called, where you're talking over music, and I would record these things knowing that one day I'd be working in radio, so I'd have this music underlying, and I would record this stuff with the plan of using it one day while working in radio, and so here I am now.
But you're what? You're a singer? What is it that you do exactly?
Well,
what is your instrument of choice?
Well, my instrument of choice, I play flute, I play drums, I play guitar, I play piano, but I'm usually a front man. I don't like, I'll play only with like a tambourine or maybe a big set of congas in front of me, but nothing more than that. It takes too much concentration. You know, if you ever saw me performing, it takes a lot of energy. I don't just stand there. I move around. I'm very dynamic. I like that. I'm a showman. So I move around the stage a lot. I don't have time to hold an instrument. I leave that up to the guys who really do it well. I mean, I dabble in all those instruments, but I'm not proficient enough to do a lead guitar solo or a big piano solo. I know enough to write songs with all those instruments, but I wouldn't trust myself playing that because all my band members are so much better than me than that.
Is there anything else you'd like this audience to know about you?
You know what? For people that are dreaming of things like that, like, this is a dream come true. So if anything, I want people to know that, yeah, those dreams can come true. I was and I came to it late. So it's never, it's never time to give up on your dreams. It's just, you're just not ready for it yet or something. Life has other things planned for you. So don't worry about it. If you have a dream, don't give up on them. Just put them on the back burner and get down to doing what what you're supposed to do. And if you're meant to get there, you will.
So perseverance.
Perseverance. Don't let the dreams die. Keep them going.
Okay.
Follow your passions. That's the biggest thing. Follow your passions. I've always been passionate about this, and when the opportunity came, I grabbed at it right away. Don't hesitate. Don't second guess yourself and think, oh, maybe I shouldn't do it. No, go for it. What do you have to lose?
Words of wisdom from Timothy Armstrong. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Come by again anytime you want.
I will.
All right.
Okay.
Someone please bring me home. Can't seem to make it on my own. Ended up on streets where I don't belong. Love to be back home with you, but I'm not that strong. So please, please bring me home. Yes, someone please bring me home. Remember when all I wanted was to get away from you. Now I'd give my final breath to be back home with you. My inspiration is all the, what's been going on in the media, all the missing and murdered Aboriginal women. We even have one, when I was living in Ganawage, we even had Tiffany Morrison, who was missing for 3 years. She went missing, several years, and she was even found not far from her home. So it's a story that needed to be told, and I found that there wasn't enough coverage in the media. It was slipping through the cracks, not enough people were knowing about it, and I know that music has a way of getting to everybody. So I wanted to write a song because there's that many more people that could hear the message and find out exactly what's going on. It seems that when an Aboriginal woman goes missing, it seems to be a low priority.
So what do you think is the solution? If you had an idea on how to address this issue, what would it be?
Well, we have to take the issue, if we have to take the issue into our own hands, which is pretty sad that the government wouldn't be willing to help, but if we have to do that ourselves, if we have to mobilize ourselves, luckily we now have the infrastructure in place, like with the Idle No More movement. The movement has kind of calmed down right now, but what's nice about it is that we now have the infrastructure in place that we can, through via Facebook and stuff like that, we can communicate with each other very, very quickly. So if we can get in touch with each other through Indian country, the whole talk about Indian country, the World Wide Web has made it that much smaller, so we can just get in touch with each other right away. If we have to do it, then we'll do it. So please bring me home.
Hey! The Red-tailed Spirit Singers! And give it up again for the Keepers of the Eastern Door. I'm Timothy Armstrong. Welcome to the 24th Annual First Peoples Festival. Mesdames et messieurs, put your hands together for the Buffalo Hat Singers.
Can you please explain who you are, what nation, your name?
I'm Anixiwi. I'm Huron-Wendat and Anishinaabe on my father's side. My mom is French from Ontario. There's also Émilie Monet. Her mom comes from Kitigan-Zibi, so she's Anishinaabe. Her dad is French. Naka Bertrand is Dene from the Northwest Territories. She is with Odaya since 3 years about, and her mom comes from Victoriaville, so French Québécoise. There's also 2 other members that are not present with us, but that are very dear to our hearts. There's Lisa Gagné, she's Saulteaux, she comes from Saskatchewan. And there's also Kimpikar. She's Inuit from Pessamit.
And what does Odaya mean?
Well, at the time it was a big, it took us a while before finding the name, and we were like figuring out what it could be. Some of the members were more Iroquois languages, Mohawk and Wendat, and the others were more like Algonquin languages. And we wanted something in the language, and it was actually Anik came up with that name. Her sister was supposed to be called Odaya, and she remembered that name. And Odaya is a word that comes from Odaimin, which means the strawberry in Anishinaabemowin. Wow. So we thought it was a good name for us because it's all about the heart and love and compassion. So
That's beautiful. I had no idea that's what it meant. Please.
Odaya, like Odaimin, it's, as Emily said, it's the strawberry. But if you translate it literally in Anishinaabemowin, it's the fruit of the heart.
Okay.
The strawberry is the fruit of the heart.
And when you cut it in two, the strawberry, it looks like a heart.
Okay.
And when we started to gather and drum together and learn songs, very quickly we've been asked to perform at different events, and sometimes like people would offer money, and you know, at the beginning we were just hanging to get a sense of community, learn songs, deepen our cultures, share about our realities of Aboriginal women living in Montreal. So it was not about like performing so much at the beginning. So we had to ask ourselves the questions like, what are we going to do with that money? Like, what's our vision? What are we? And we all decided, we all agreed like very quickly that we would give back the profits to the community to create projects for the community, or support organizations or different causes. So that's what we do since we exist.
I know, and you're like very much in demand.
Very much.
Well, you are. I know you're like at so many different events. But what did you do just past weekend? What else are you doing besides performing? You're doing workshops or something along that line?
Yeah, we gave a workshop at the Forum Social des Peuples, the People's Social Forum in Ottawa. Previously, we were at the World Social Forum in Tunisia.
Oh my God.
2013, after the Tunisian Revolution. So we just went there and talked about Odaya and social transformation, and how art can be part of cultural healing and such. So, yeah.
Were you like well received? People coming after you and asking you to come to their communities, or?
Well, they hadn't heard. It was just right after the big, resurgence movement. Well, with I Don't Know More, so part of it was to talk about that and inform people about what was going on in Canada in terms of Indigenous struggles. And but what we were really interested in doing over there was to connect with the Indigenous people from Tunisia. They're called the Amazigh people. So they were also at the forum, and so we came up to them and we introduced ourselves, and we were right away invited to go spend some time with them in their village. So we went to, it's called Gelala in Jerba Island, and we were hosted by the family of the president of the Amazigh Association of Tunisia, and it was very, very eye-opening for us too, because one thing is that Indigenous people worldwide do face extreme injustices and being taking away their culture, their land. So it was very good for us to see that and create those solidarity, this solidarity between us, but also like to see, because they weren't even allowed to create an association as a people before the Tunisian Revolution. So it was, and they couldn't even name their children with Amazigh names until a few years ago. So it was good to see that reality too.
So what kind of projects do you do for the community of Montreal?
Well, something that is very dear to our hearts is we organize Christmas feasts at PAC, Projet Autochtone du Québec. They're a homeless shelter for Aboriginal people, mainly men, but they also have some beds for women. We organize traditional feasts, so we get country food from friends and makivik sometimes. We also invite friends like the Buffalo Hat Singers and other dancers, traditional powwow dancers, and we like to organize a very nice event. We try to get gifts. We have some friends that come to help us out with everything, and like it's very beautiful to see how the community, especially last year, was very involved in giving or just like donating time, money, anything they can, prayers, so that this event is beautiful and make a difference for the people there. So
it's like an annual event. You
yeah,
have it. Okay.
Yeah, it's been 5 years we do that.
Okay, and it's getting stronger and more involved. That's
yeah,
great.
That's what we've seen, especially last Christmas.
Because we've learned so much from picking up the drum and having a sisterhood together. This is probably the most precious thing for me about being part of Odaya, is having sisters, and they've really become family. And so we wanted to contribute to offering that kind of opportunity to other women. And last year we did a fundraiser, and part of that money went to the Native Women's Shelter in Montreal, so that the women could make their own drum. So they invited 2 elders to come into the shelter and show the women how to make drums. And we've been then a couple of times to teach mostly the staff some songs. But that feels really good to be able to do that, and to be able to share how this experience of singing and finding our voice and making music together has empowered us in such a beautiful way.
Odaya has been a process for us also of empowering ourselves. You know, we feel so much stronger now, standing beside of our sisters and being more anchored into our cultures, our identity. It's been really a process of healing as well for us in many aspects. The drum is something. It's not just an instrument, it's sacred, and taking care of it and playing the drum on a regular basis is very healing. Yeah, and we became a family. Like the bonds that unite us are very strong. We deeply love one another and help one another, and we're really sisters.
Yeah, really.
Right now, we're located under the Mercier Bridge. This is where one of the places that we had for Idle No More. We did a big march starting down at the far side over by the 132. We had what we called a sacred fire. It was burning all the time that Teresa Spence had, that she was over in Ottawa at the Victoria Island. Out of solidarity, we had a fire burning for her here. And we did a march where we stopped. Well, we didn't even stop traffic. We just, we diverted traffic a little bit. We started on that side here. We came up the Mercier Bridge. We walked up to the top right here where they meet. We turned around and we came back down. All the time we were singing. We had our drums. It was great. It took us about a half an hour, I think, and we had mothers, we had grandparents, we had children. It was great. Lots of people. What made me want to get involved in it was the fact that I hadn't been involved in it before. And I saw the Idle No More movement. I saw that it was a peaceful movement. I've seen a lot of stuff that was very militant, stuff that I was kind of, well, not embarrassed, but I'd rather not be involved with that because it showed the more aggressive side of it. And this was peaceful. I liked all the flash mobs that were going on all over Canada. So I thought it was a very peaceful movement. I wanted my children to be involved with that. So my children and I had gone to Angrignol Mall the week before, and we took part in the flash mob over there. It was great. something that I want to be involved with. I even played the song for Teresa Spence on Victoria Island as well, and that was on New Year's Eve.
Dear Mr. Harper, what are you waiting for?
Well, being a songwriter, I like to use my music, as my means of protest. I still want to continue doing music because I find it has mass appeal. It's a way to get a message across to people. And so there's also residential schools. There's so many other issues that we can still deal with.
Thank you for watching Indigenous Power. Please stay tuned for more episodes on urban Aboriginal talent in Montreal.